We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Cactus Wrestling is now available on Spotify and Amazon. And don't forget to check us out on Etsy for all of your Cactus Wrestling apparel needs.
I mean,
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. We
here we
are
go.
covering the US Open, baby.
No, we are here to discuss the more important matter. Who you picking in to beat one gorilla? We want to know.
If
We
you
got a
haven't seen the
poll.
poll,
Yeah, we got a poll. It's been out there. I don't know how many days ago we posted it. It's out there. Make sure you vote. Are you voting for 100 high school wrestlers, one Dylan Palacio, one Bo Nickel, or the Cactus Wrestling Trio? We want to know. Get in there, vote. Who you picking to beat one gorilla? I mean, I know who I'd pick, but I'm not gonna say
I
that.
already voted.
I already voted myself, as well. I already voted, so I'm not gonna spoil who I voted for. I want you to be unbiased by my choice. But back to it, Mike. Take it away.
Hopefully, you've seen our video. We talked Penn State at the US Open. We talked Oklahoma State at the US Open. We're rounding it out with Iowa. Um, so we broke it into a few sections. We got senior graduates, senior current student athletes, U20 current student athletes, and U20 recruits. Starting at the top, Austin DeSanto, 61 kilo, takes fifth. Um,
I mean, it's kind of exactly where I would have thought.
it's kind of exactly where I would have thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, did you see his new tat?
I did.
You thought maybe that would have helped him
I
fly a
love
little
it. I
higher into the
think
bracket, but
Austin DeSanto is the man, dude.
hey, he knows how to end on a win. Just not gold, but
I'm waiting for him to like make it WWE. I think he'd be an awesome heel.
oh.
But what's funny to me, not funny, but like interesting, is that Real Woods outplaces Austin DeSanto. But he, granted 61 kilo for 65 kilo. Real Woods beats Bo Bartlett, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, and a tight one too.
And
But
yeah,
yeah.
and typically we see Bo Bartlett love those tight matches. He thrives in low
Yeah.
scoring.
Well, but that was 9-8.
Yeah.
So that was high scoring. That's like
That was
this
for
guy.
yeah, for Bo, that's a marathon.
Yeah.
Like if you
I
told
didn't
me
know
that
this many points could be scored in a match.
I say if you told me Bo Bassett, Bo Bartlett scored 8 points in a match, I have to say, well, I assume he won.
Yeah, right.
I've never heard of Bo Bartlett scoring 8 points and losing.
Yeah, there is one other time that comes to mind
Yeah.
when he beat Nick Lee.
Yep. And then he didn't beat Nick Lee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His hand gets raised. They're like, "Ah, way to go, Bo. You lose."
Um, the 97 kilo though, as far as like senior current student athlete, and
I was very interested.
technically not a current student athlete, but like technically is like he's in that gray area. Is
Yeah, I was
Taylor.
very interested to see how he'd perform, and honestly, I was disappointed.
It's tough. So if you don't know, we're talking about Masamo, Masoma and Dene. I'm sorry, Masoma and Dene. Took me a second there. At 97 kilo, multiple time D3 champion, former Wisconsin wrestler for a weekend. Um,
Yeah.
just teched his way through the U23 Pan Am Championship. And we're like, oh man, like we're getting to see how he looks against some, hopefully some US talent and see how he stacks up. I mean, I don't think anyone's predicting him to win nationals next year, but there's a growing movement that thinks he's going to be a pretty high All-American based on his past accomplishments.
I mean, after this performance, I don't know about high All-American.
I would say it's within All-American is within reason, though. We'll see how guys
I
develop.
wouldn't say All-American's off the table, but I don't see him in the top four.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
So he wins 10-0 in his first match, loses 7-3 to Ethan Laird. Um, drops down to the Consi bracket. And trying to
Yeah.
find him again.
Laird, who takes sixth, and then he also lost to Latham, who took third. 10-7.
Oh, Lanham, yeah.
Oh, Lanham, not Latham. Sorry.
Yeah, he loses 10-7 to him, and then 8-4 over Houghton. Again, not like,
Hey, Tyree Houghton, NC State represent.
but this wasn't like a super packed bracket. I mean,
No.
we saw Kyle Snyder was the biggest name there.
I mean, I remember in our preview, I was like, I kind of hope he makes it to Kyle Snyder so we can see how he stacks up. And
Yeah,
he didn't even freaking
like
get
this
there.
probably one of the weakest brackets, and he didn't place great. And some people are gonna say, well, it's freestyle and NCAA wrestling is folk style. It goes, yeah, but he's a world medalist.
He's also like a three-time D3 champ.
Yeah, but additionally, he's done well internationally. He just did well internationally.
So, yeah.
So if I'm a Iowa's fan, I might say, what the heck is this? You know, I don't think he's going to be the starter.
Who do you think is
Um,
going to start over him?
Give me a second to remember his name. It's like Huntington or something. It's I think it's Harvey Luddington.
Oh, Luddington. Interesting.
Um,
You
I
think he
believe
transferred there just to not start?
I think he transferred there because they're trying to buy a team,
Oh.
and I think that Harvey Luddington is probably the better wrestler, but we might see him redshirt. Uh, and that's not a slight on the fact that he's a D3 wrestler or his past accomplishments. He's obviously very accomplished, but for whatever reason, didn't want to wrestle D1 last year.
Mm.
And I think that he could do well in that practice room, having guys like
It was
Andrew.
just, Bono turned him
Yeah,
off.
could have been a Bono thing, honestly. Totally possible. I think he's got a great practice room with Angelo Ferrari and Stephen Buchanan, Harvey Luddington, Gabe Arnold potentially, but I'm not quite sold that he's going to be the starter. And we'll see, you know. But in fairness,
All
Iowa,
American to bench.
well, Iowa's never really been the team to start a true freshman. I think Spencer Lee was their first one that they did, and even then they waited, they pulled the red shirt. They didn't start him immediately.
And if he
So
didn't get injured as often as he did, he probably could have been the fourth-time champ that they were hoping.
yeah, yeah. But I think that knowing Iowa's history of not starting true freshmen, I don't think that we'll see Harvey Luddington start, but I think that there's a possibility that, you know, Ndene's not their guy come the end of the year.
Right.
Um, but anyway, moving on to U20, student athletes, we saw a younger brother of Drake Ayala, Drew Ayala. He was at 57 kilo. He goes 2-2, doesn't place.
Why
Also,
didn't Drake compete?
because you'd have to go 61 in seniors.
Yeah. Why didn't you
And
want to be in that mix?
he didn't want to lose.
Oh, he's still reeling from that NCAA finals.
I'm telling you, I said this in their preview. If Lucas Bird and Drake Ayala were so confident that they were going to win nationals next year in a team in a bracket that now has potentially Marcus Blades, they would have stepped foot into the U.S. Open.
I mean, I don't know about Bird. Has Bird ever wrestled at the U.S. Open?
I have no idea. I'd have to look it up, but
I feel like Bird, Ayala, I could see being kind of scared, but or
scared money don't make no money
yeah, but Bird, I think is just
with
living
his
it up in the
with
glory
his
of it.
with his tall girlfriend.
Yeah, well, in the glory of his national title. So I feel like he's not
Yeah.
looking at the freestyle scene right now.
But yeah, Drake probably should have been there. I mean, and again, who knows? Maybe we'll see these guys at the World Team Trials. Like, there's a total possibility we'll see that.
Could be.
Um, but continuing on, Iowa's current student athletes did not do great. Another 57 kilo guy, Anthony Lavizola, goes 0-2. 70 kilo now, Coy Grebel, 1-2. Joey Kennedy, younger brother of Pat Kennedy, he goes 4-2 to not place. The only guy that they had at U20's place was Brody Sampson, who took eighth at 92 kilo.
Solid performance.
But the big chunk of the video right here is what you've all been waiting for. U20 recruits. And there's two of them. And if you're an Iowa fan, you know who we're talking about. It's Bo Bassett and Mike Mako. Um, the Bo Bassett one was surprising, to say the least.
Mm.
Uh, you know, I didn't think he wasn't going to win. And maybe that's because I'm a big Bo fan.
Yeah, but what, you didn't have enough faith in your boy, oh, your boy, your boy, Luke Stanek?
Not that I didn't have faith. I just Bo's a returning bronze medalist at the world level at this weight, only losing to one guy who was from Japan. Um,
Mm.
so I would feel confident that he could at least make it back pretty easily to the worlds, and get through the rest of America. And Bo looked great up until his loss. I mean, first he's the one seed, first round bye, then 57-second pin, minute pin, 10-0 tech. Continuing on, how does he do? This is a big bracket, by the way. 16-5 tech, 10-0 tech over Aaron Semet, loses to Luke Stanich 5-2. And let me just say, Stanich wrestled out of his mind. He beats Zapata 8-8 on criteria, and then immediately beats Bo 5-2, and then he beats Pearson Manville of the famous Manville
Oh,
family
yes.
6-0 in the finals. I mean, not I know this is an Iowa video, but if you're Lehigh, you got Sheldon Seymour at 125. You got Ryan Crookham at 33. You got Luke Stanich at 41. I mean, this is possibly one of the best 1-2-3s that college wrestling has right now.
That is for sure. That's a tough, yeah, definitely tough
It's
to
a
beat.
really, really formidable lineup.
And
Um,
hey, you want to know something that's great? They're in the national duels.
they
So
are. They're
they
not
will be
afraid.
there, and that 1, 2, 3 punch is going to be
That's gonna be big for them.
extremely helpful.
Oh yeah. Um, to Bo's credit, though, he came back for the next best thing, and it's that's always tough. When you lose, to kind of recommit yourself to coming back to wrestle. But Bo,
Hey, you get more matches.
you do get more matches. Bo then won his next one 11-0, and then won for third 12-2. So his only loss was to Stanich 5-2. Stanich was the eventual champion. Um, it it's unfortunate how that went for him, but I think that we're gonna see Bo Bassett again at the he supposedly he's going to the senior world team trials at 65 kilo as well. So that'll be interesting to see how he does there. Um, he's One thing about Bo that his family even says is that he's not a great wrestler
Mm,
in the sense that he's not overly naturally gifted. He just has incredible work ethic,
right.
is incredibly dedicated. He studies film. He's just constantly, working hard. And then if you watch him wrestle, really watch him wrestle, you can see that Bo is not necessarily doing anything that's like, wow, what a high level move that you might see from his teammates like Jax Forrest. Um, but Bo is just like relentless with his pace. He's very Mitchell Messenbrink esque. He's
Yeah,
very old school Iowa.
that's true.
Um, and I don't think that some people talked about if Bo wasn't so aggressive and so high paced and so trying to quote unquote get after it, he probably would have beaten Stanich, but he out wrestled himself, which we saw him do against Zapata the first time they wrestled
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds very similar to the
um
match.
but in Bo's defense, like, would you rather have a guy that goes out on his shield and is trying to score points and that's why he lost because he just wrestled too competitively, or would you have a guy that's trying to
And I was
steal the
trying to
win?
win.
Yeah, trying to sneak out a win every single time.
No, I'd rather have the guy that's going for it, the guy that's
Yeah,
trying to win, even if he
yeah,
falls short, than the guy that's like, I'm gonna try to hold on. I'm gonna try to hold on. I'm gonna try to hold on.
yeah. And I think that people do make jokes about Bo's age and oh he's this and that. in the grand scheme of it, he is still young. And yes, he's had a lot of success and a lot of experience, but he's still learning the senior level and the U20 level of wrestling. It's a whole new world, and he's going to learn from it, and hopefully he will. You always want to see these young guys do well. And speaking of young guys, we're going to move on to Mike Mako, who, my goodness, had probably the most frustrating loss in his career. Um,
I mean, it reminds me of when who was it that it was the women's match. Adeline
oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Adeline Gray against the Adeline Gray's losing the match to um
Whoever. I know exactly. I do know.
he
I
was
remember
the
that.
it was the former world team member. She's losing to her, and then the
Just step
girl
out. Step
goes,
out.
it was caution and one like three times in a row to disqualify.
Yep.
Like, oh,
So Mako is the one seed, um, returning U17 world champion. Lot to build off of here for U20. Um, Starts off first round bye. Then he gets a tech over Connecticut's own Charles Weidman
mm,
from Xavier High School, who is a West Point commit, by the way. Congratulations to Charles.
and he's
Um,
healthy.
if he's healthy, he took off the entire season for his shoulder injury, so hopefully he's healthy. But it doesn't stop him. Mako texts him anyway, 10-0. Mako wins his second match, 13-0. Wins his third match over Rocco Delegata, 10-5.
Mm.
And then he wrestles Cole, I believe it's Cole. Yeah, Cole Mirasola in the semis. The score is 9-6 is the final.
Yeah.
There was 3 takedowns in the match, all 2-point takedowns. All 3 of them were by Mako. Um, Cole Mirasola wins on pushouts. He had 8 pushouts. One of them was a caution and one.
That's
Like I said, it's got to be frustrating if
saying
you're,
that was possible.
it's if you're a freestyle fan. These are one of the times where like it's tough to defend. Where it's like, why do I love freestyle so much? Oh, there's great action, but then it's just a guy can win on pushouts.
Yeah.
And if you're a freestyle hater, this is one of the times that you're gonna circle this one and point to this match time and time again. It goes, the better wrestler didn't win. The only guy that took shots lost. The only guy that got takedowns lost. Um, but you know, Cole Mirasola had a great redshirt year, won some big events. Is a potential All-American for Penn State next year. And the fact that Mike Mako was able to take him down not once, not twice, but 3 times should make guys pretty confident, especially because he's still a high schooler.
Right.
What was tough though about this is that he did not bounce back flawlessly. He lost to Coy Hopke 6-2. Um, in his first round back at Concies, gave up a takedown and I believe a turn. Then a push out, got his own takedown, and then gave up another push out. Um,
Really good at getting pushed out.
really good at getting pushed out. Doesn't hold center well, which is surprising because like you think of his father,
Oh
Steve
yeah.
Maka, who was like a bull in a china shop, just moved people
He
around.
could stand next to like Andre the Giant and not look small.
Yeah. And like he controlled center like a mofo.
Yeah.
I mean, he just moved guys around. So it's just interesting that his son is not the same kind of wrestler in that sense.
Yeah.
And then gets a forfeit win for fifth over Kobe, not Cody, but Kobe Merrill. Um, so if you're an Iowa fan, I mean, yes, it kind of sucked to have not the best senior level performance, not the best U20 performance from your current athletes,
I mean,
but
their
your
RTC
recruits,
really isn't known for.
yeah, the Hawkeye Wrestling Club is you know, it's not quite known for that.
They have a good time.
They like to have fun.
They like to have fun.
But if you're a U20, follower and you're an Iowa fan, having Bo Bassett and Mike Mako, 2 big names, 2 names that I expect people to follow for the next few years, and that could be the jump start Iowa needs again to kind of get back to where they are. And not that they're in a bad spot right now, but People don't love that they're using the portal. People don't love Tom and Terry. People don't love that they're not winning everything like they used to. People don't love the style of Iowa wrestling where guys are not going out and scoring points constantly. Guys are getting tired in matches. Um, so I think that having Bo and Mike Mako back will be really great for the program if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, yeah. Ideally.
Uh, that is that's the Iowa recap of the U.S. Open. Um,
You think Iowa won the U.S. Open overall after these three videos? We'd
they
love
were
to know.
certainly one of the teams there. Um,
They clearly outperformed everybody else.
so stay tuned for more freestyle updates. I know that not everyone that watches this channel is a huge freestyle fan. Unfortunately, it is freestyle season for those guys.
And we follow it.
Yeah, so be ready for some World Team Trials previews coming up soon, and
Oh, and
maybe some
Final
Final
X.
X predictions, and
Who knows? We might even end up at Final X. You never know.
we might even get a gorilla out here live.
Yeah, we might get a gorilla out here live and we'll have all four options available. We'll get the 100 high school wrestlers. We'll have the three of us. We'll have Bo and we'll have Palacio, and we'll just four gorillas. We'll see who wins.
That's it.
But
Well,
yeah, thanks always for watching Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.